I don't know what's going on with my sound here. Ladies and gentlemen, bear with me for a second. My sound, for whatever reason, acts like it doesn't want to work. It was working a second ago, and then all of a sudden it just decided, yeah, we don't want to work no more. So let's try this again. Of course, my son is in the background. Hi, y'all. Doing the most. Let's see if that'll re-trigger it. All right. Let's see if it works now. This joint legit does not want to work. Oh, Lord. Of course. Mercury retrograde, doing what Mercury retrograde does best, you know what I mean? But anyway, you know what I'm saying? We gonna roll with it anyway. We already live, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. I'm your man, AJ Throwback. Great to be here with y'all on another awesome Sunday, because we now on Sunday, we're no longer on Wednesday. Well, we are continuing our breakdown of my latest single. Well, not single, but a song off of the album track, Nowhere, which is track number 3 on The Late Bloomer 2, which is out right now. So if you don't already have The Late Bloomer 2, please make sure that you get it. It is on all streaming platforms except on Spotify, but everywhere else you can find it. So definitely make sure that y'all go get it. That is, you can get it at my website, which is bammllc.net, and you can also get it on Bandcamp. If you want 4 additional tracks that you're not going to get anywhere else, you can go to my Bandcamp page, which is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. Once again, that's ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. All of the information is scrolling at the bottom for everybody that is watching on Facebook and YouTube. We had to actually come off of Twitch because I needed the extra space for another podcast that I will be a part of very soon. More details to come about that. Definitely shout out to everybody that's tapped in all across the board. And everybody who's going to watch this replay, definitely appreciate it. And people who are also tuned in on Instagram Live. I saw my man Redhead, Stephen Redhead PG on IG. Shout out to my man for tuning in, tapping in shortly. And shout out to my sis, Joyful Connections Life Coaching. Just call her Joy for short. My sis, thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Teasy the Star on a check-in on IG. Appreciate it. Always appreciate the love and the support. There goes my music. There we go. All right, cool. Now you got the background music back. You know what I mean? So I tell you, retrograde's trying to retrograde, but it's almost over, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. I don't want to waste too much time. Also, if you're watching, all my IG people that's watching, please make sure that you share the live. Definitely appreciate the support. And everybody who's watching on YouTube and also on Facebook, make sure that y'all share the live. So let's get into it. Verse number 2. Y'all know how I do. Instead of just saying the lines, now that I have the live format and I have everything at my disposal, I can just play the music and y'all can hear it for yourself. So I'm gonna play y'all a little snippet of verse 2. Instructions collecting dust, I'm out of bounds. Behavior repugnant, respecting nothing. Holy rollers, annoying when trying to say need a melee. Holy waters need a dip, go tripping, that ain't a vacate. The free will is the vehicle, prone to roam. Shifting gears to save the roads. I had a hone on my own. After sifting through prophets for prophets and towns full of clones. Guys whispering like you haul and unload. You found your home. With fellowship and the love's the only policy. No histrionics or mockery or philosophy. But irony, while counting 20s and stewardship. Satan side betting like $1 million just due to quit. Between a lack of support, tucking my demons, people gleaning every weekend. That weekend bump it, I'm leaving. Ghost of Moses is bucking and bleeding like Joseph the Morbid Fit. Israelite 11 nights, blinking is 40 years. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was verse number 2 from Nowhere. So, hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about having a little one who wants to be a part of everything. Or not so little one because he's 8 now. But I definitely want to make sure that I shout out my main man. I see my man Calvin Williams of Lush Vibes Radio. Check in on Instagram. Definitely always appreciate you for tuning in. And also being, if not the first, one of the first to always purchase. So I always appreciate that. And that means a whole lot because let me tell you about Calvin real quick. Calvin was actually a part of the late bloomer, well, not the late bloomer, the BAM Ranking and Selection Committee. And even though he heard most of the songs that were part of the project already, he still bought like every song on the project. So his support is real. So I definitely appreciate you, my brother, for all of your support. You know what I mean? So let's get into verse number 2 from Nowhere. So first couple of lines where I say, what do I say? So I say, I'm trying to actually think. All right. So I say, see, this is the thing about when it's live, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see all of the mistakes, but anyway, so I say, I'm out of bounds. Out in the wild. My basic instructions collecting dust, I'm out of bounds. Behavior repugnant, respecting nothing. Holy rollers, annoying when trying to say made in melee. Holy waters need a dip, but guilt tripping, that ain't a vacay. So the reason why those lines are important is because that really kind of sort of captures the essence of what I went through when I was in college. So when I was in college, because last week I talked about that transition from high school where I was kind of sort of losing my way, but college was like a free fall. That's why I say out in the wild, because college really was like a wild time, you know what I mean? So it was one of those times where I really was very faithless. Like I didn't read the word a whole lot. I didn't go to church a whole lot. There was a whole lot of things that I didn't really do to put more effort into my faith and put more effort into being more so of a man of God. Like I really just kind of sort of let loose and did what I wanted to do. And in a lot of ways, there were times, I won't say I blasphemed, but there were a lot of times where I just really just kind of sort of thumb my nose at like anybody who was being too religious. So then you get to the lines where I say, holy rollers, annoying when trying to say me to melee. Holy waters need a dip, but guilt tripping, that ain't a vacay. So there was specifically somebody that I went to school with, and this is during my first year of college. Like, you know, so she was like one of these church goers, was always going to church, was always in the word, you know, so she said, or whatever. And I'm not going to name her by name, you know, but she would always get on a lot of us for not going to church, for not doing certain things from a religious perspective. And, you know, I just always remember getting bothered by it. I'm like, but none of us are perfect. None of us are going to get it all the way right. And the irony of the whole situation, as much as she was kind of sort of Bible thumping with a lot of us, she ended up pregnant. And, you know, I feel bad about this now because it's like, back then I was petty. I'm not even gonna lie. Because it was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you supposed to be the holy roller and all of this and all of that. But you messed around and got pregnant, you know, like you ain't married. So what's up with that? You know, but I look back on that now and I look at it like, you know what? She made a mistake. She wasn't perfect. But I also look at it as a situation where God was humbling her. And I feel like God was saying to her, like, okay, it's cool that you're trying to bring people to me, but don't guilt them into doing it, because I've given each and every last one of you who are my children free will. So there's nothing that you can do or anyone else can do that I can't even do it. So you definitely can't twist somebody's arm and make them come to church. You definitely can't twist somebody's arm and make them read the word. You definitely can't twist somebody's arm and make them pray. You can't do any of that. So why try to do it? You know what I mean? So that's why I got to the lines where I say, if free will is the vehicle prone to roam, shifting gears to safer roads I had to hone on my own. After sifting through prophets for profit, towns full of clones, God's whispering like, you haul and unload, you found your home. Well, fellowshipping and love's the only policy. No histrionics or mockery, all philosophy. So those lines are important. Like I said, the whole free will thing, it was a thing where I had to go through my own experience. Like I went without a church home for 14 years. Now I tried to go to different churches. I never forget going to the church of my cousin, her ex-husband. He ran a church or whatever. But here was the thing that disturbed me or bothered me. And it kind of turned me off from a lot of pastors. I'm not even going to lie. And, a lot of us can kind of sort of relate to this struggle. But one of the things that I struggled with was the fact that he was an excellent teacher of the word. Like this brother really, like he had you sit, he had you study like in church. Like you had Bible study basically in church. And it was like, yo, like he's really breaking down the word. So I'm like, okay, I might just consider going to your church. Until this man decided to embarrass his congregation by saying the fact that they didn't get him a birthday present. And I mean, he went on for like 10, 15 minutes about this in the middle of service. And shout out to Noble Bland on the check-in on Instagram. Appreciate you for tuning in. Talking about my song Nowhere, which is track number 3 off of my EP, my latest EP, The Late Bloomer 2. So this dude decides he wants to embarrass his entire congregation about the fact that they did not contribute to get this man a birthday present. And I'm like, okay, on one hand, yeah, okay, you look out for the pastor, but at the same time, it's like people aren't necessarily obligated to do that. Like you're not God. If people are bringing tithes and they're bringing offerings, yes, it helps the church, but it's not for your edification, or it's not for your glory, or it's not for you to sit there and get rich off of, off of your congregation. And to embarrass them in the way that he did, it just completely undercut everything that he said by sitting there and teaching the word as excellently as he did. It's like, do you even believe what you preaching, bro? Like seriously, you know what I mean? So that was a turn off of the situation. Then there was another situation where I went to a church that my mom that she was going to for a very long time. She doesn't go to that church anymore, but she was going to this church for a very long time. And it wasn't quite the same thing, but it was a very financially driven church in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, they had, when I say decorated baskets for collection, it was serious. I was like, yo, like, did y'all just have somebody in arts and crafts like just put together these baskets and do this? I mean, it was like really elaborate. And a part of me didn't really feel comfortable really contributing, because it's like, okay, well, where's my money really going? If I'm tithing, if I'm giving my offerings or whatever. And then come to find out later, the congregation put together to get this man, I think for a birthday or an anniversary of something, I think he got like either a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. It was some really fancy car. And it was like, wow, they doing this for pastors? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like pastors don't deserve to live nice, but at the same time, it's like the way that it appears to me. That's why I said prophets, Prophets, for profit. Profit, play on words, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Shadow of Love 412 on the check-in on IG. Appreciate you for tapping in. But yeah, it was just all of those different things really turned me off from going to church for basically a matter of 13 years. So I want to read a couple of comments from shout out to my man Calvin Williams, showing some love on YouTube. He said, that's some serious hubris coming from a pastor of all people. Exactly. Then he said, did this church have offerings for their building fund? You already know, bro. You already know. You know they did. And then he said, was this Pastor Creflo Dollar? You know, if he was asking for a Learjet, then it probably would have been Creflo Dollar, you know what I mean? But it's just wild, the stuff that I've endured. I think that a lot of us who have been to churches in the Black community have endured, have experienced. But I didn't allow those experiences to completely take me out of the game in terms of going to church, because I just wanted to have a home. You know what I'm saying? And then it was, other experiences that I had in the meantime, between time. Like I remember another church that I went to around the corner from where we lived in Southeast DC. And I never forget the pastor. Like we were all set to join the church until he decided to come at hip hop and made it seem like it was a low form of communicating with God. And I'm like, but if it's praise, does it necessarily have to be singing? Like his whole thing was, we're bringing God down to our level with rap. And I'm like, no, you just don't like rap music and anything that like even makes you feel like it's rap music. Shout out to Drew on the keys on the check-in on IG. Appreciate you for tuning in, bro. Talking about my latest EP, The Late Bloomer, talking about track number 3, Nowhere, a song about spirituality and religion. And so getting back to the whole thing about hip hop, like he's saying like bringing God down to our level by doing basically Christian rap or rap period. And I'm like, you just lost a ton of people that you probably would have had in a certain demographic because you want to slam rap. That's not cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, however you bring people to God, however you bring people to Christ, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Like, if that's your goal, it would behoove you to involve the people who can speak to people in a certain language, in a certain way that they can connect with. But if you're basically telling people, oh, but this is a lesser form of praise, then, what makes them want to continue to listen to you? So that was another situation. So all of those situations end up leading me to the church that I ended up attending for probably about 3 or 4 years, Washington Christian Center in Temple Hills, Maryland. Now it's, I want to say, Encounter Life Church. Still in the same location in Temple Hills. I don't go there anymore, but this church was huge in really my direction as a Christian, because I really started tapping in a whole lot more with my spirituality at this point. Like, I was reading the word, I was praying, but I was missing the fellowship component, and this was where I really felt at home. And I want to read a comment from my man Drew on the keys on IG. He said, "Gotta reach people through what they know." Exactly. However you can reach people, that's what you use. You know what I'm saying? If you reach them through song, if you reach them through poetry, if you reach them through rap, if you reach them through dance, whatever the art form that you tap in, my man Drew on the keys is go-go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have gospel go-go out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that there's gospel bounce beat out there too. You know what I'm saying? For my DMV folks, you gotta really be able to tap into whatever it is that's gonna bring people to God, bring people to their higher self at the end of the day. And so, my biggest thing is, like, once I got to this new church, it was the fellowship. Like, I had churches where I felt like there was a family, but this was the first time I really felt like I was at home. You know what I mean? And not only that, it was a matter of God moving through me saying, this is your home church. Well, this is going to be your home church for a long time to come. And for that amount of time in my life, it was such an important time in my life that really just drew me even closer to God during that time, and really helped me to mature in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? And my man Jordan Key said, I got a gospel bounce coming on a new project. My man, you know, I'm ready to hear that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you anything you do, especially when you put the go-go bounce on it, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So getting back to what I was saying. So, kind of sort of continuing on after what I said, because like I said, it was the whole thing of the lines where I say, we're fellowshipping and love's the only policy. No histrionics or mockery, all philosophy. One of the biggest things that I appreciated about attending Washington Christian Center was there wasn't the demagoguery involved. There wasn't the theatrics that are involved a lot of times, unfortunately, with black churches. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you praise, that's how you praise. But a lot of times you can tell it's for show. You know what I'm saying? It's just people like they done had a hard week and they just trying to let it go however they let it go. And sometimes it's not even really about God. It's really about them in that moment. But, you know, I digress when it comes to that. But the whole thing is they weren't about the whole prosperity gospel like a lot of people are. They were really about the word. You know what I'm saying? They were really about your relationships with God. You know, that was what was most important about that church. Everything was really word driven, and that's what I really appreciated about that church. You know what I mean? And like I said, the whole fellowship aspect. But then moving along, getting ahead to the part where I say, by irony, while counting 20s in stewardship, Satan's side betting like $1 million is due to quit. So that part, for a long time, for probably like, I'll say about a year, maybe, I got asked to be part of the stewardship ministry. And anybody who's never been in the church doesn't know about the stewardship ministry. Basically, a lot of what was done had to do with counting the tithes, counting the offerings, making sure the counts were everything, making sure that everything went to the appropriate funds that they were supposed to. Now, to Calvin's point, they did have a building fund at this church, but it was a legit building fund. You know what I'm saying? And I saw the improvements to the building because they were actually putting the money where it was supposed to go. When it came to putting the money where it was supposed to go, this was a church that definitely did just that. You know what I mean? The pastor was not living high on the hog. He probably was driving the same Benz that he was driving since like the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't really changed out or anything like that. Like, for him and everybody who was in the ministry, it was very important to really just live right at the end of the day, you know. But getting to the whole thing of $1 million is due to quit, between a lack of support, tucking my demons, people gleaning every weekend, I'm weakened, bump it, I'm leaving. Ghosts as Moses is bugging and pleading like Joseph the morbid fear. Israelite 11 nights blinking is 40 years. So between a lack of support, tucking my demons, people gleaning every weekend, I'm weakened, bumping, I'm leaving. So that part right there, even though I'm sitting here, you know, I'm in church, I'm, you know, doing all of these things to get closer to God. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying, different ministries, different outings with the church or whatever. I became part of the Gideons. Anybody who doesn't know who the Gideons are, the Gideons International, if you ever look in the drawer of any hotel you go into and you see the Bible there, that's the Gideons. The Gideons place those Bibles in the vast majority of the hotels that you go into. You know what I'm saying? So, 1 second, you ladies and gentlemen. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to OG the Queen on the check-in on IG. Appreciate you for tapping in, Queen. And my man Calvin, he said, now that is comforting to hear, talking about the pastor at Washington Christian Center, who's no longer the pastor. Now his son is actually pastoring the church. And he's doing an excellent job, by the way. And then Calvin said, oh man, the Gideons. That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually not a part of them anymore. I didn't renew my membership. But, you know what I'm saying, I definitely appreciated a lot of what I learned and what I did during that time with the Gideons, actually going out into the community, passing out personal workers' testaments and Bibles and everything. You know what I'm saying? It was just a really good experience and more fellowship as well. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mrs. Single 28 on IG. Appreciate you for tuning in, Queen. Said just jumped in right quick to see what you're speaking on. So today I'm continuing my conversation from my song Nowhere. So last week I focused on the part about the first verse, like the time from being small to being in high school and really kind of sort of discovering my spirituality. This week I'm talking about losing my faith and then gaining my faith back in my adulthood, just to catch everybody up who's just now tuning in. So getting back to what I was saying, so during that time, like, there were a lot of things that I had going on personally that I was still struggling with and wrestling with, and trying to wrestle with those things, and then also trying to navigate my other aspects of my personal life, and feeling like, being honest, I was by myself for a very long time, or after a while going to church. And it was like, one of the biggest reasons I went to church was because I wanted my wife and I to go to church, but she started having things going on with her health, and it made it harder for her to attend church. You know what I'm saying? Then it was a thing where people would ask, like, well, where's the missus, and this and that and the third. And after a while, I'm not gonna lie, I got tired of having to explain it to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want people thinking that she was just ducking church, but she was really going through a lot at that time. And so it was a struggle for me, kind of sort of going by myself. And after a while, I just stopped going as consistently. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to blame anybody but me for doing so. Like, I could have kept going, I could have kept it up, but I allowed certain things in my life to kind of sort of take me away from that. But where the line where I say Israelite 11 nights, blinking is 40 years, but rewinding the line where I say bugging and pleading, ghost of Moses is bugging and pleading like Joseph the morbid fear, Israelite 11 nights, blinking is 40 years. Shout out to Jay Sick with it on the check-in on IG. Appreciate you for tapping in. Those lines are important because it's the whole thing of when Moses was trying to lead God's people out of bondage and lead them to the promised land. It was supposed to be an 11-day journey, and it ended up taking 40 years. And the sad part about it is, by the time they actually reached the promised land, Moses had already passed away. So he was trying to get God's people to look at things in a certain way, but they were being stubborn. They were complaining. They were, doing all of these things, getting in the way of something that was only supposed to take days. And it ended up taking 4 decades in order for it to happen. The stubbornness of us as humans when it comes to our relationship with God, that's why that line is important, because it ended up being a struggle for me that has taken pretty much 40 years. Something that could have been simple if I'd have just remained obedient, if I'd have just remained tapped in with my spirituality and my relationship with God, then I probably would have seen a lot of different blessings on my life a whole lot sooner. I probably wouldn't have gone through a lot of the pain that I went through, specifically over the last 9 years. And not only the pain that I personally went through, but also the pain that I caused people in my life. If I had remained connected to God, if I had still been in church, if I had still been praying, if I had still been reading the word, like if I had still stayed connected instead of trying to do my own thing, instead of trying to tell God, well, I need more of this and I need more of that, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, the Israelites saying, like when God gives them manna from heaven, they're complaining about the manna. Oh, we don't want this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want this and we want that. And it's like, but I'm like taking care of y'all. I'm blessing y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure that y'all have, but y'all are complaining about what I'm giving you. What I'm giving you is not good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of the same thing with me. I went through the same thing. I was an Israelite. in a lot of ways, you know what I'm saying? And not in a good way. You know what I mean? So that's why that line is, those particular set of lines are so important. And I think it's probably a good place to leave it right there before we head into verse 3 of Nowhere. And that'll be the final verse that we break down next Sunday. But I definitely want to make sure that I thank everybody for getting the Late Bloomer 2. If you don't have it already, you can purchase it on my website, which is bammllc.net/music. For those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, you can see that scrolling right at the bottom. Yeah, you can see it. You can buy it from there. From there, you can also connect to your favorite streaming platform. I'm on every streaming platform except Spotify. That's the only one I'm not on, but everywhere else, if you're a streamer, definitely hit it up. You know what I'm saying? Search AJ Throwback, search the Late Bloomer 2, and boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, stream the album, add the album to a playlist, add the songs to playlist. Definitely keep it in a rotation, and make sure that you play the songs in full, because it really means a whole lot when it comes to how that affects our streaming numbers as independent artists, especially us as independent artists. Because people like Drake, people like Future, people like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, they don't need, you know what I'm saying? They all right. They got plenty of streams. They got millions of people streaming their music every single day. But people like me, every stream counts. Every full play of a song counts. Every addition to a playlist counts. You know what I'm saying? So definitely appreciate everybody who's been showing plenty of love, plenty of support. Also, if you want 4 bonus tracks that you can't find anywhere else, not on my website, not on the streaming platforms, definitely make sure that you go to my Bandcamp page, which is also scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. But for my IG people, it is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. Once again, that's ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. There, like I said, you can get 4 bonus tracks that you're not going to get anywhere else. And a lot of people have given me some good feedback on some of these bonus tracks, so I'm definitely appreciative of it. And I'm appreciative of everybody who has bought my full discography, which you can also get on my Bandcamp page, and you can get it at a decent price as well, because the more of my music you buy, the more of a discount that you get. So definitely appreciate everybody who has gone the extra mile and done that. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, please make sure that you comment, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell notification so whenever I go live, post a new video, premiere a new video, you'll be among the first to know. Also, please make sure that you are following me all across the board on social media. That is AJ Throwback on Facebook and Twitter, a.j.throwback on Instagram and TikTok, and on YouTube, that is AJ Throwback 928. And also, if you like the merch that you see I'm wearing, this is a new hat that's on the website, black and white, keep it real simple. You know what I'm saying? There's other colors as well behind the white, but this is the basic color. If you like this hat, if you like this shirt, once again, this is actually from, this is in connection to my song, I Want My Summer Back, from the first Late Bloomer, the first EP. If you like any of the gear that you see, definitely make sure that you go to my website where you can get my merch. I'm gonna be having some new merch up soon for the fall. Gonna have some hoodies, gonna have some sweatshirts real soon, so definitely stay tapped in for that. But you can go to my website, bammllc.net/shop batch. Once again, that's bammllc.net/shop batch. Yeah, you can get a whole bunch of merch, and like I said, more merch is coming real soon. And you can also follow the merch line on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. That is batch.202. Once again, that's batch.202. And on Twitter, it's batch_202. Again, batch_202. So definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. I think I got a few more comments. My man, hold on one second, let me take my banner off. And boom. And my man Calvin Williams on YouTube, he says, I am consistently blown away at the depth of the content in your lyrics, man. Makes me ashamed to know English sometimes. I feel you on that, brother. I definitely feel you on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really try to like pack a lot of punches in a small amount of space when it comes to lyrics, you know, and it's hard to do. Sometimes I don't always succeed at it. That's why sometimes there are 24 bar verses instead of just 16 or 12. But, you know, I try to do as much as I can. So I definitely appreciate you. And he said, just in time for hoodie season. That's right. Gotta have the hoodies, you know, gotta roll those out and everything. So, yeah, definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Whether you tuned in live or whether you were tuning in on the replay, I'm very appreciative of your support, your continued support of this platform, continued support of my music, as well as the continued support of the merch. Everything I got going on, you know what I'm saying, is very much appreciated. Next week, we will be getting into the final verse of Nowhere, verse 3. So definitely make sure that y'all tune in for that. And then after that, we'll be getting into the next song, track number 4 on the Late Bloomer 2, which is Independence Avenue. Definitely looking forward to getting into that. But, you know, I definitely am excited to wrap up this song right here. It's a dope song. It is the number 1 among the band ranking and selection committee. This is the number 1 rated song out of all the songs for the entire project between both EPs. And, you know, there's a reason for that. It's just a really dope song, you know what I mean? And definitely one of my personal favorites. So, baby boy, you want to come in and say something before we wrap up?
Oh. Hey, people.
Why don't you come to this side where the mic is?
Hey, people. If you want to get the merch, go to bammllc.net/shop.
Shop what?
Shop. What is it?
What's my brand name?
Batch. Shop Batch.
There you go.
It's on his hat.
That's right. It's on my hat, as he said.
and look at the back of his hat.
Oh, I guess I should show him the back of my hat, even though I don't really want to show nobody my hair right now. But I can do it real smooth like so. Hold on. Let me do it like that. See? I'm trying to like adjust it on the fly and all of that. As y'all can see, it's got the batch scale logo. That's what I call it because, you know, balance. I'm a Libra. Everything's about balance. So, boom.
And I'm a Leo.
That's right. And he's a Leo. You know what I'm saying? So, who just celebrated a birthday last month. And your boy about to celebrate a birthday in 3 days. So definitely excited about that. So next time that I come talk to y'all, I'm going to be 43 years old. Yeah, I don't mind telling my age. You know what I'm saying? I earned these years. So boom, there it is. I might go live on my birthday. I might go live. I don't know. I might, you know what I'm saying? Just randomly to go live.
Maybe we can do a birthday special.
Maybe we could do a birthday special. I know this guy would love to do a birthday special with me. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. You know, a lot going on this week. So I may or may not do it, but I'll definitely let y'all know. If because there was actually something that was supposed to happen on Wednesday, a new podcast I was supposed to be a part of. I haven't heard anything yet. So it may start this week, may not start this week. But if not, then maybe we'll do the live special. And shout out to my Fresh Tribe brother, Paul Mike, on the check-in on Instagram. Appreciate you for tapping in, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Let me straighten out my hat because this dude done got me wearing my hat all types of ways and my hat all crooked. You know what I'm saying? I look crazy. Boom. There we go. All right. So, oh, Lord, here he come bringing his friends. There you go. Bringing his friends.
Oh, hi. I'm Beatbo. And Charlie and Beatbo are on the maximum sentence.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Hey, Charlie and Beepo. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So until next week, this has been the Maximum Sentence with yours truly, AJ Throwback, and the young Padawan, and Charlie and Beepo. You know what I'm saying? Like, how about we not, you know, hit? You ain't got to hit the mic. You know what I'm saying? You can voice them without hitting the mic.
This is Charlie. And Beepo, say something.
See, Bebo comes with music. I like. Hey, Paul Mike, you want to remix that? He might not be here now.
They're gonna love it. They're gonna comment us. They even might want a show named after us. Woo!
They might. They might indeed. All right. We're going to wrap this thing up. All right. So let your daddy wrap this thing up now, brother. All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. So for the maximum sentence, I'm your man, AJ Throwback. Until next week, y'all make sure that y'all enjoy y'all week. Have a great week on purpose and enjoy your upcoming weekend. And by the next time I see y'all, we should be out of Mercury retrograde. So all this nonsense that was kind of sort of going on today and previous days and this whole month, all of that stuff is going to be over. So y'all enjoy y'all time, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
And we're gonna, and he's gonna be 43.
Yes, thank you for emphasizing that once again there, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Now let's see these comments.
Maybe my pastor struck a nerve. I'm calling, besides I'm questioning whether I'm even part of plans. Couldn't catch the spirit with stick up in Chris Carter's hands. Do I believe in heaven and hell and the